luck, you're dead wrong. Behind the scenes, it's not luck at work, but algorithms designed by IT geniuses to ensure you never walk away with any money. Welcome to the world of no more bets, where human intelligence is forced into slavery to greed. We often imagine the face of evil as rugged, tattooed figures wielding guns in dark alleys. However, this film opens our eyes to a far more horrific and sterile reality. This evil doesn't begin with physical violence, but with lines of binary code and algorithms crafted by the brightest minds in the tech industry. This is the story of how a giant online gambling company operates like an efficient factory machine. They're not looking for thugs. They're looking for programmers, statisticians, and graphic designers. Why would these highly educated people want to work in such a place? The answer is both simple and painful, a combination of betrayed ambition and a carefully crafted trap. Our story begins in 2018, focusing on a young man named Penseng. He's no ordinary young man. Penseng is an IT genius whose career began in the dark world of hacking. Imagine, at just 20 years old, he'd already hacked tens of thousands of bank accounts. His technical prowess landed him a job at a renowned technology company in China. He was a valuable asset, or at least that's what he thought. The long-awaited day arrived, the day of the promotion announcement. With his portfolio and capabilities, Penseng was confident that the position of technical director or another strategic position would fall to him. However, social reality hit him hard. The position was given to a colleague whose competence was far inferior to his, but who possessed one advantage Penseng lacked. He was the son of a prominent official. Disappointed and fed up with this nepotism system, Penseng took a desperate action. He resigned in disgrace after accepting a job offer from a startup in Singapore that promised him many times his salary. For Penseng, this was both an escape and a chance to prove himself. He didn't realize he had just stepped into the mouth of a tiger. Long story short, Penseng and a group of other talented young people were preparing to leave mainland China. They were guided by a man named Chai, a field agent who appeared friendly but had a cold aura in his eyes. Chai introduced himself as a representative of Firefly, the company they thought would be the home of their dreams. Before the plane took off, Chai explained in great detail their route, which would involve several transit points. They arrived at an area near the Thai border, their last stop before their flight to Singapore. Here, Chai gave them a concession: 10 hours of free time to enjoy themselves. It was at this moment that the atmosphere shifted from hope to terror. As Penseng was on the phone with his mother, excitedly giving her the latest news, he heard screams from his colleagues who had gone ahead. They were being confronted by a group of armed men. His hacker instincts screamed that something was wrong. Penseng tried to escape, engaging in a chase through the unfamiliar city, but ultimately, physical strength overcame intelligence. He was kidnapped, his head covered with a sack, and taken to a mysterious location. Welcome to Firefly School. When the hood was removed, Penseng found himself in a highly organized complex. The place was called Firefly. It was spacious, modern, but filled with armed guards at every corner. This is where he met Lu, the mastermind behind the entire operation. Lu didn't immediately torture them. Instead, he acted like a CEO giving them an office tour. This is where we see the anatomy of the online gambling industry. Floor 1, Low Caste. A noisy room filled with hundreds of people tasked with spreading bait. They sent millions of text messages, shared fake links, and searched for new victims. Their salaries were only around 8,000 yuan, a small sum for such a significant risk. Second floor, Intellectual Team. This was home to people like Penseng, the website and app development team. The room was quiet, cold, and filled with sophisticated computers. Their salaries reached over 30,000 yuan per month. They were the architects of the system that ensured the house never loses. Online gambling room, the most crucial part and the backbone of the company. This room was filled with beautiful women in heavy makeup who served as card dealers or simply chatted with the players over video calls. Their presence added a human touch to the cruel digital system. After touring the area, they were taken to a rest area, which turned out to be an elementary school. And to their horror, the school was still operational. The sounds of children's laughter contrasted with the screams of torture in the neighboring building. This demonstrated just how powerful Lu's inside support was in the country. The next day, a new reality begins. Penseng is forced to wear a Firefly uniform. His first assignment is to steal sensitive data from a government website. When Penseng's pride rebels, Lu teaches him a lesson. Penseng is beaten so severely that his ear is torn off. There's no room for ego at Firefly. There's only obedience or death. Amidst the overwhelming work pressure, Penseng never abandons his rebellious spirit. While pretending to work, he writes secret codes for his escape plan. One day, he tries to escape through a toilet vent. However, his plans are halted when he meets a beautiful woman named Anna in the toilet. Anna is a former supermodel trapped there through a different fraud scheme. Her career in China was ruined after she was framed for a breach of contract that cost her everything. At her lowest point, a colleague offers her a high-paying job as a casino model abroad. Anna, needing money to start a new life, agrees without hesitation. Shay takes her illegally through the jungle after her passport and visa are confiscated. Now, she's the face of the Firefly gambling app, tasked with luring men into gambling with their fortunes. The story now shifts to the outside world, to the real victims of this system. Meet Tian, a bright senior college student with a bright future. He works part-time as a film subtitler. One night, he receives an email offering an advertising partnership that looks like a regular subtitle ad. However, after seeing a photo of Anna, the model for the ad, Tian becomes curious and downloads the Firefly gambling app. This is where the psychology of gambling comes into play. Following Lu's instructions, Penseng and his team arrange for Tian to win big early on. This instant win damages the dopamine structure in Tian's brain. He feels he's found an easy way to get rich. Tian begins using the logic of doubling his bets, martingale strategy. He thinks it's impossible to lose 10 times in a row. However, he forgets that he's not fighting luck, but an algorithm controlled by Penseng. In one night, Tian goes all in and loses all his savings. The Firefly analyst team, who reviewed Tian's financial profile, refuses to let him go. Through personal messages, written as if from Anna herself, they provided secret, leaked numbers. Tian, already addicted, felt Anna was his savior. He desperately sought out loans, even frantically searching for a power bank in the campus library, just to keep his phone powered enough to place a bet. He won again, but it was just bait to get him to bet bigger the next round. In just 1 month, Tian's life was shattered. He was 1 million yuan in debt. Debt collectors began visiting his parents. His relationship with his girlfriend, Song Yu, was in tatters. However, his ambition remained unquenched. He pawned his beloved Ford Mustang for one last gamble that he believed would change everything. Tian's devastation didn't end with the loss of his beloved Mustang. At this point, his self-respect and morality had evaporated, replaced by blind obsession. Under Firefly's psychological manipulation, Tian no longer wanted to simply gamble. He wanted to become an investor. This was the highest level of fraud Lu had ever engaged in. Through Anna, Tian was asked to deposit 8 million won, a staggering sum he obtained by stealing his parents' house title. The money had to be converted into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, to make it difficult to trace. On Tian's phone screen, the numbers seemed to offer false hope, with assets growing at 12% daily. However, when he tried to withdraw his funds, reality hit him hard. The money was split into hundreds of different accounts in a matter of minutes, disappearing into a complex international money laundering system. Tian lost everything: his future, his family, and his sanity. Amidst immense shame and looming legal action, he chose the most heartbreaking shortcut. While Firefly's top brass was celebrating record profits of $60 million, Tian jumped from a height, ending his life as a sacrifice to an algorithm. Back at Firefly headquarters, Penseng and Anna were hailed as company heroes. Lu, the big boss, was so impressed with the efficiency of Penseng's system that he even offered Penseng a position as a business associate, an offer hard to refuse under the threat of death. However, for Penseng, such luxuries were meaningless without freedom. Meanwhile, Anna, having reached her deposit target, demanded that Lu return her passport. However, Lu revealed his true colors. He never intended to give up his valuable asset. Anna is presented with an impossible choice: marry Lu and remain a prisoner forever, or work harder to earn an additional $20 million. Penseng appears at the perfect moment to defuse the situation, offering a new innovation, an automation system that will eliminate the need for manual labor on the first floor. Implicitly, this is Penseng's way of freeing many people at once, even though he himself remains shackled.
调整到一个群，群里面所有的导师号全部都是机器人，应用内置滑杆，以货配资，效率更高。
Penseng begins his most risky escape plan yet. He writes his location coordinates on a banknote and entrusts it to a colleague he believes will be released. However, his hopes are dashed when he realizes that those who are free are actually being sold back to another syndicate. Chai discovers the banknote, and a harsh sentence awaits.
安静啊！应急号码，有人在这张钱上写了一个求救电话。505什么意思啊？那到底是谁想要？
是我，
是我写的。
Penseng suffers a severe leg fracture, while Anna is brutally tortured with needles inserted under her fingernails, a scene that demonstrates the worthlessness of human life in Lu's eyes. However, Anna's spirit remains unwavering. During a transfer, she jumps from a moving bus. With her remaining strength, she reaches the local police station, hoping for protection. Her hopes are dashed when she sees the policeman's keychain identical to that of the Firefly syndicate. She is returned to Lu for execution. Anna is bound, stuffed into a sack, and thrown into the sea. But here's the twist. Chai, who secretly harbors feelings for Anna, staged the fake execution to record it as a report to Lu. He provides Anna with a passport and a secret escape route. In China, the police began to mobilize. Zhou, the head of the anti-fraud division, managed to decipher the codes Penseng had been sending. With the help of Anna's testimony, who finally returned home traumatized, the Chinese police formed a secret sting team. They did not involve local police due to the high level of corruption. Instead, they worked directly with immigration and the military. The coordinates Penseng sent turned out to be an elementary school in Jiangsu province. The challenge was immense, storming the school without harming the children, who were being used as human shields by the syndicate. The police employed an undercover strategy through catering. Penseng received a secret message inside his lunchbox to trigger the fire alarm. When the alarm sounded, chaos ensued. The children were evacuated, and elite troops stormed in. Lu realized he had been betrayed when he saw Anna's face on the CCTV. In his final moments, Lu tried to manipulate Chai into destroying all the recordings to protect a mysterious figure nicknamed Mr. Chong, a major mafia figure who was the boss of bosses. Cha was killed in the shootout, but he managed to destroy Penseng's master phone, which contained all of their criminal records. Although the physical data was destroyed, the police won a moral victory. Lu and his men were apprehended. The most touching moment occurred when Anna and Penseng looked at each other amidst the chaos of the raid. a smile filled with gratitude for their survival through hell. The film ends with justice being upheld. Lu is sentenced to death, Anna is placed on probation, and Penseng begins a new life as a police IT advisor, using his talents for the good. However, the director delivers a particularly poignant ending. In the middle of a seminar on the dangers of online gambling, a man in the back row is seen holding the same keychain as Lu and Chai. This is a chilling message. Firefly may have fallen, but its ecosystem remains, constantly lurking for new prey. As long as there are people who desire instant riches without hard work, this illicit industry will continue to have a market. The film's closing quote will always resonate. They're not afraid of you winning, they're afraid of you quitting. Because in a game controlled by algorithms, the only way to win is to never start. This channel will continue to bring you interesting and meaningful stories, so make sure to subscribe now and turn on notifications.